Welcome to From Chaos to Peace with Conny. My name is Conny Graf and I am your host. I'm here to explore with you, often solo and sometimes with a guest, how a few minutes a day can keep the chaos away. And with chaos, I'm talking about the physical, digital, social, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual clutter that can accumulate in our life and business. In every episode, I want to make you aware how clutter is so much more than you think and why I say that clearing your clutter is self-love. Well, hello, my friend. Welcome to the podcast. This is episode number 179. Thank you so much for allowing me back into your ears. Please subscribe and follow my podcast if you haven't done so yet. This way, you never miss an episode. And please share it also with your family and friends, because if you find value in what I'm talking about on this podcast, they will too. So today, I will continue with another quick tip on how to reduce financial chaos in your business finances and also in your personal finances. Again, I will make this short, so it's not overwhelming, and I make it very actionable, just like the other previous 3 tips. This is tip number 4 in the series, and if you haven't listened to the first 3 tips yet, no worries. Just go listen to them after this one. Tip number 1 is in episode 175, tip number 2 is in episode 176, and tip number 3 is in episode number 178. As I mentioned before, financial clutter and chaos is very overwhelming because all our money decisions and indecisions and our financial chaos is really fueled by our emotions, even more so than other clutter. But just like with anything, you can start very small, tiny if need be, but you do need to start. It doesn't help to stick the head in the sand, which so many of you do. Running a business means we have to take care of our finances. And the tips that I'm sharing here are really, very simple and easy to do, but you do have to do them. So now we get to tip number 4. Here we focus on your expenses. There are 2 kinds of expenses: fixed expenses and variable expenses, how I call them. Fixed expenses are those expenses you can't run your business without, like rent, electricity, heat, etc. But if you work from home, your business might not have these expenses, but you may have phone, internet, Zoom subscription, domain name costs, website costs, business license, business insurance, and software licenses, etc. Anything you can't run your business without, anything you really need to have your business open and serve your clients. It's important that you exactly know what those expenses are, especially in the beginning when you're starting up, how much you have to pay per year and how much that is per month. Often these expenses are charged only once a year and not monthly. So in order to avoid struggling to pay those bills when they are due, I highly suggest you put away every month 1/12 of the amount of that invoice, so you have the money available and ready in your account when you need it. In my business, for example, all the big fixed expenses that I have to pay and that I pay yearly come due in the first 2 months for whatever reason. It's my Zoom subscription, my accounting software, ThriveSuite membership that I use for my website, the business license, the Chamber of Commerce membership, everything in the first 2 months. It can be quite a big amount, but I never have to worry that I have these expenses all accumulated in January and February. I don't have to worry if January or February is a little bit slow with revenue, for example, and that I can't pay these bills, because I set aside 1/12 throughout the year, so the money is ready in the account when the invoice is due. Peace of mind, trust me. So by identifying which expenses are absolutely necessary to run your business and then making sure you either pay them monthly or if it's a once a year invoice that you set aside 1/12 of the amount every single month, will really create a lot of peace in your finances. If you can be trusted, you can simply keep track in a sheet how much money you need to have set aside in any given month and keep it in your regular business bank account. If you can't trust yourself to remember that not 100% of the balance of your business bank account is there for you to spend, then just like with the sales tax and the income tax, put that money into a separate bank account and only touch the money in that account if you either pay sales taxes, or one of your fixed expenses. Just by dividing your expenses into fixed and variable expenses being all the bills, subscriptions, and expenses that are more nice to have expenses and not really important or necessary for you to run your business, you will move a big step from chaos to peace in your finances and in your overview of your finances. Contrary to what you might think right now, knowing exactly what your expenses are and when you need to have the money available to pay them is liberating and empowering, and way less scary than not having a clue and living with this immense cloud of anxiety over your head. And if you don't have that amount available at this time, the full amount that you need to put aside in the separate bank account, put aside however much you can right now. And then from every sale you make in the future, from now on, you start putting it away so you can start building up this cushion. And just to be clear, this is not saving. We're not even at that point yet where we are saving. This is putting aside money for obligations you are already having. You already agreed to these expenses. Now it is your obligation to make sure you can pay that bill when it comes due. So to summarize, tip number 1 was always put aside the sales tax part of each sale you do into a separate bank account. This is not your money to begin with, so don't even get tempted to spend it. Tip number 2, put aside a percentage of each sale that you make, like 10% or 15%, into that separate bank account as well, so that when you get your tax bill at the end of the year, you have the money sitting there and ready, or at least the majority of the money. Tip number 3 is have always separate bank accounts and separate credit cards for your business. And never mix private and business expenses. So always pay business expenses from your business bank account or credit card and private expenses from your private bank account or private credit card. And this tip number 4 is identify your fixed and once a year expenses and every month put 1/12 of that amount into the separate bank account or leave it in your regular checking account, but just don't spend it. So that when the bill comes due, like my bills all come due in January and February, you have the money sitting there. And as I said in every episode before, these tips are really not groundbreaking or mind-blowing. What is mind-blowing to me is that most people are not doing them. But unless you do them, you will keep struggling with your financial chaos. So please, go put these really simple steps into action in your business. Just start today. You can put these tips in place in your business today. You can start today. Don't worry that we're already in June. Simply start today to put these tips in place in your business. Trust me, it will bring you a lot of peace of mind. And always remember, reducing chaos is self-love and self-care. And if you feel like you still struggle with chaos in your office, files, or finances, and you know you need to make a change, but you just don't seem to be able to do it on your own, contact me because I can help. You can bring your chaos to me. I will be on your team and I will help you face your chaos, and together we will figure out what is the best thing for you to do a few minutes a day to keep your chaos away and to get organized and in control. You can message me on Instagram. My handle is I am Conny Graf, or send me an email, or you can sign up for a complimentary Chaos to Peace session. The link is in the show notes, and the show notes you find at connygraf.com/podcast/179. That is Conny Graf, ConnyGraf.com/podcast/179. Okay, my friend, that is it for this week. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. And if you love my podcast, you can really help me by going to Apple Podcast and write an honest review. This will help that more people find this podcast and can move from chaos to peace in their life and business. Have a beautiful and amazing week. Talk to you next time. Take good care and be safe. If you enjoyed this podcast episode and you want to go on a journey from chaos to peace in your home, office, and finances with me as your guide, opportunities to work with me one-on-one are available. Go to connygraf.com, CONNYGRAF.com to schedule your own personal Clutter to Clarity chat. And we will see if working together is a great fit. That is connygraf.com, CONNYGRAF.com.